Have you ever noticed that the biggest fears after 80 aren't always the ones people talk about most? Most assume death tops the list, but when you sit with people in their 80s and beyond, you'll find something very different. Death in many cases isn't the thing they dread. What they fear more are the things that come before it: quiet, creeping changes that touch their freedom, their mind, their place in the world. These fears aren't loud, but they're real, and they shape how people live more than they realize. In this video, we're going to uncover the 7 biggest fears that most older adults face after 80, fears that go beyond health charts and checklists. From the loss of independence to the quiet worry of being forgotten, each one speaks to something deeper than physical survival. These aren't just fears, they're warnings, signs that something in life is being threatened, even before the end arrives. Stay with me until the end, because we're not just going to name these fears, we're going to unpack what they mean, why they show up, and what you can do to ease their grip on your life. Some of these might sound familiar, others might surprise you, but every single one holds a truth we don't talk about nearly enough. So if you're over 60 or love someone who is, this video will give you insight, comfort, and a new way to see the road ahead. Now let's get started. Number 1, loss of independence. One of the deepest, most common fears that quietly grows after 80 is the loss of independence. Not being able to dress yourself, manage your medications, or take care of daily needs without someone else's help. It's not just about needing assistance, it's about what that assistance represents. For many older adults, it feels like the final crack in the foundation of who they used to be. When you've spent a lifetime taking care of yourself, others, and maybe even raising a family or running a business, it's hard to imagine needing someone to help you brush your teeth or tie your shoes. And even when those moments arrive gently, a slip here, a missed task there, they carry a heavy emotional weight. You may not say it out loud, but the question forms in the back of your mind. Am I still me if I can't do what I used to? I once knew a man named Walter, 84, who prided himself on his independence. Even after his knees began to give him trouble, he insisted on doing everything himself. But one morning he fell while trying to shower and had to call his son for help. It wasn't just the fall that rattled him, it was the vulnerability. I used to carry lumber and build porches, he said, and now I'm calling someone to help me off the bathroom floor. That shift from doing to being helped can feel like a threat to dignity. But here's the truth: independence doesn't disappear the moment you need help. It evolves. It becomes about making choices, expressing preferences, and maintaining agency, even when your body needs support. True independence isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional. It's being able to say, yes, I need help, but I still decide how I live. And that's where the key lies. Preparing before the crisis, setting up supports before you're desperate for them, making peace with tools like grab bars, walkers, or pre-cut vegetables, not as signs of weakness, but as bridges that keep you engaged in life. Every adjustment is a way of saying, I'm still in this. I'm still living on my terms. Losing certain abilities doesn't mean losing who you are. And if you can redefine independence, not as doing everything alone, but as having the freedom to shape your life, you'll find more peace, more control, and less fear as the years go on. Number 2, cognitive decline. There's a unique kind of fear that settles in when you can't remember the name of someone you've known for years, or when you walk into a room and forget why you came. After 80, this fear becomes more than just an occasional annoyance. It starts to raise deeper questions. Am I losing myself? Is this the start of something I can't stop? For many older adults, the fear of cognitive decline runs even deeper than the fear of physical illness. A broken hip can be repaired. A heart condition can be managed. But losing your mind, losing your words, your memories, your ability to follow a conversation feels like losing the very core of who you are. I once spoke with a woman named Carol, 82, who had always been sharp, witty, and well-read. But she started noticing little slips, forgetting dates, repeating stories, misplacing familiar items. Her greatest fear wasn't being embarrassed. It was becoming someone her children didn't recognize. I don't want to be in the room, but not really there, she said. I don't want them to look in my eyes and see no one home. That fear isn't irrational. It's deeply human. Our memories are more than thoughts. They're our story. And when that story starts to fray, even in small ways, it can feel like life is starting to slip out of our hands. But here's something important to remember. Cognitive decline is not always inevitable. The brain can adapt. It can grow new connections. It can be challenged and supported in ways that keep it alive and responsive. Things like regular movement, social connection, Sleep, hydration, and learning new things can all help protect your mind. And beyond prevention, there's another truth. Your worth does not disappear with your sharpness. Even if your mind begins to fade, your presence still matters. Your spirit still touches others. Your smile still speaks. The people who love you won't stop because you forget a name. They will find you in other ways through your voice, your warmth, your history. So if this fear has been circling, you don't ignore it, but don't give it power over your days. Do what you can to care for your mind. Stay curious, stay connected, and remember you are more than your memory. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, outliving your money. Even people who've worked hard, saved carefully, and planned for retirement often carry a quiet, persistent fear after 80. What if I run out? The idea of outliving your money, of seeing your savings shrink faster than you expected, can stir up deep anxiety, not just about bills, but about dignity, choices, and the ability to take care of yourself without relying on others. It's not always about poverty. Sometimes it's about the uncertainty. Rising healthcare costs, unexpected emergencies, longer lives, these all add to the feeling that your financial foundation could wobble. And for people who grew up in times when thrift and responsibility were survival skills, the idea of not having enough isn't just uncomfortable, it feels like failure. I knew a man named George, 85, who had saved diligently his entire life. He owned his home, had no debt, and still worried every time he opened his checkbook. I just don't know how long I'll be around, he said, and I don't want to be a burden to my kids. He wasn't living extravagantly. He just felt the constant pressure of making his money last, without knowing how much time he was budgeting for. That fear can quietly steal joy. It can keep people from turning on the heat in winter, from saying yes to dinner with friends, or from spending a few dollars on something that might actually make life more comfortable. It can shrink your world, not because you're broke, but because you're afraid you might be. So what helps? First, information. Knowing what you actually have, what your real costs are, and how to structure your resources gives back a sense of control. Second, conversation. Talking with a financial advisor, a trusted family member, or even a local senior support center can ease the pressure. You don't have to know everything. You just have to stop carrying the worry alone. And finally, give yourself permission to enjoy what you have. You've worked hard for it. You've planned. You've been careful. Now is not the time to live in fear. Now is the time to spend wisely, not anxiously. A good life isn't about hoarding every penny. It's about using what you have to care for yourself, create connection, and maintain the freedom to live with dignity. Number 4, being forgotten or left behind. There's a kind of loneliness that cuts deeper than being alone. It's the fear of being forgotten. For many older adults, especially after 80, that fear isn't just about fewer phone calls or visits. It's about the quiet ache of feeling invisible. Like the world is moving forward without you. Like you've become a name in a phone book no one checks anymore. Even people with loving families can feel this way. Children grow busy. Grandchildren grow up. Friends pass away or move into care homes. The social web that once held your life together starts to thin, and the silence that follows can be louder than any crowd. I remember a woman named Dottie, 86, who once told me, "I don't mind being alone. What I mind is feeling like no one would notice if I disappeared." She wasn't dramatic. She had a family. But she said the hardest part of aging wasn't her sore knees or her thinning hair. It was feeling like she didn't matter to anyone's day anymore. No one asked her opinion. No one needed her help. She went from being a center of activity to someone on the edge of the picture. This fear is powerful because it touches on purpose. We all want to feel needed. And when that feeling starts to fade, it can lead to sadness, depression, and a slow withdrawing from life. Not because of health, but because of meaning. But here's the truth, you are not invisible. And there are still ways to reconnect. Start small. Reach out to someone with a note, a memory, or a compliment. Offer a listening ear. Tell your story, because someone needs it, even if they don't know it yet. Presence creates presence. The more you show up emotionally, socially, even spiritually, the more people will begin to see you again. And if the people around you don't make space, make new space. Join a discussion group. Talk to your neighbor. You're not too old to matter. In fact, your wisdom is needed now more than ever. The world doesn't forget you on purpose. It just moves fast. Sometimes it needs a gentle tap on the shoulder. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, losing a spouse or close companion. After 80, one of the most profound fears people carry isn't their own death. It's the loss of the one person who's been beside them through it all. A spouse, a best friend. The fear isn't just about grief. It's about losing the rhythm of life you've known for decades. The routines, the quiet conversations, the shared memories that no one else on earth quite understands the same way. When someone close to you dies, it's not just their absence you feel, it's the shift in identity. You go from we to me, from our home to my place, from making 2 cups of coffee to realizing you only need 1. That change is disorienting, even if you saw it coming. And for many, the fear of that day arriving is something they carry silently, dreading the moment when the house feels too quiet and the calendar too empty. I once knew a man named Bill, 87, who had been married for over 60 years. He told me, "I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to be the one left behind." When his wife passed away unexpectedly, he described it like a limb had been removed. Not just pain, but imbalance. He struggled to cook, to sleep, to speak without hearing her voice in his head. "She was my memory," he said. "She knew things about me that I don't even remember anymore." That kind of loss is not something you simply get over. And the fear of it can cast a long shadow over everyday life. But what matters is how we prepare, not with dread, but with presence. By cherishing the time we still have, by having honest conversations, by sharing passwords, recipes, memories, and stories while both people are still here. And for those who've already faced this loss, the fear often becomes a longing. How do I keep going alone? The answer isn't simple, but it often begins with connection, finding new ways to express love, to be needed, and to continue your own story with grace. No one replaces what was lost, but new chapters can still hold warmth, meaning, and even unexpected joy. Grief is love that has nowhere to go. But your life still matters. Your heart still beats. And the people around you, old friends, new acquaintances, even strangers, may still need your presence more than you know. Number 6, chronic physical pain or illness. As we grow older, we expect some aches and pains. But after 80, many people carry a deeper fear. Not of pain itself, but of being stuck in it. Day after day, with no end in sight. The thought of living out your final years in constant discomfort can be more frightening than death for some, because it means suffering without escape. It's not the sharp pains that scare people most. It's the dull, dragging ones that follow them everywhere. Chronic pain has a way of wearing people down, not just physically, but emotionally. It affects your sleep, your appetite, your energy. Over time, it can darken your mood, shorten your patience, and steal the desire to connect with others. And perhaps worst of all, it can be invisible. You may look fine on the outside while carrying an unbearable weight on the inside. I remember a woman named Harriet, 84, who lived with constant back pain from degenerative disc disease. She told me, "It's not the pain itself, it's waking up knowing it's still there. Like an unwanted guest I can't get rid of." She wasn't looking for sympathy, just relief. Just a break. Just a break. Something to make the days feel a little lighter. And what makes this fear especially hard is the idea that nothing will help. That people will just say, "Well, that's aging," and leave you to suffer in silence. But that doesn't have to be the case. Pain management has evolved. There are options: physical therapy, gentle movement, meditation, diet changes, even new forms of medication and non-drug treatments that can ease the load. You just have to speak up. You have to be willing to advocate for yourself, even if it takes a few tries to find someone who truly listens. And just as important as treating the pain is treating the isolation it brings. Chronic illness often pushes people into smaller and smaller corners of life. The less you move, the less you engage. And before long, the pain becomes the center of everything. That's why reaching out, even when it's hard, is so important. Connection doesn't erase pain, but it can give it context. It can remind you that there's still beauty, still laughter, still something to wake up for. You are more than your diagnosis. And though pain may come, it does not have to define you. There is still life within you, and there are still people who care enough to help you make the most of it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 7, being forced into a care facility. For many people in their 80s and beyond, there's one fear that looms larger than almost any other. The idea of being placed in a care facility against their will. Not because assisted living or nursing homes are inherently bad, but because of what that move can represent: the loss of autonomy, privacy, familiarity, and control over daily life. The fear isn't just about the place, it's about the decision. About someone else deciding when you leave your home, what room you'll sleep in, what time you'll eat. It's about the feeling of being managed instead of being consulted. And for people who've lived their lives making their own choices, that loss can feel like a kind of death all its own. I knew a man named Harold, 86, who said, "I'm not afraid of dying in my house. I'm afraid of being told I can't live in it anymore." He wasn't stubborn. He just knew what that space meant to him. It held the memories of his wife, the pictures of his grandchildren, the old coffee pot that still worked the way he liked. The thought of leaving all that behind, not by choice but by someone else's judgment, kept him up at night. This fear often stems from a simple question: will anyone listen to what I want? Older adults worry that their voices will be overridden by doctors, children, or well-meaning caregivers who think they know best. And while safety and care are important, so is respect. So is having a say. That's why it's so important to talk about your preferences early, before a crisis. Put them in writing. Share them with your family. Let them know not just what you want, but why. If staying at home matters more to you than anything else, explain that. If you're open to certain changes but want to be involved in the timing and process, say that too. And families, listen, truly listen. The goal should never be to control your loved one's life. The goal should be to support it, to find creative solutions that honor both safety and dignity. Maybe it's part-time in home care. Maybe it's downsizing within the same neighborhood. Maybe it's just checking in more often to delay the need for a bigger step. Because at the heart of this fear is something universal: the desire to live life on your own terms, right to the very end. And the more we honor that desire, the more peace we bring to the people we love and to ourselves. Final thoughts. As we close out this video, take a moment to sit with these 7 fears, not as problems to be ashamed of, but as truths that so many carry quietly day after day. They don't show up all at once. They creep in over time. A slip here, a silence there. And before you know it, you start living more cautiously, not because you're fragile, but because you're afraid of what might come next. But here's the thing: naming a fear is the first step in weakening its grip. When you bring it out into the open, you reclaim power. You begin to make decisions with clarity instead of anxiety. You begin to shape the rest of your life with courage, rather than letting fear do the shaping for you. So, which one spoke to you the most? Was it the fear of losing independence? Of being forgotten? Of slipping away mentally or physically, even while your body remains? Whatever it was, know this: you are not alone. These are not signs of weakness. They're signals that you're still deeply alive, still connected to what matters, still human in the most powerful sense. And just as these fears are real, so is your ability to face them, to prepare, to ask for what you need while you still can. Whether you're 60 or 90, it's never too late to start making peace with these truths and building the support, structure, and conversations that will make the years ahead not just bearable, but meaningful. You've made it this far for a reason. You've weathered storms. You've adapted through decades of change. You are stronger than these fears, and more loved, more remembered, and more valuable than you may ever fully know. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.